Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live with May. My name is Ala Amido, and I'm a third-year business analytics major. I'm the community outreach intern for the Middle Eastern Student Center at UC Riverside. This event is a collaboration across all of the University of California offices and departments that supports Middle Eastern, North African, South, and Southwest Asian student populations in honor of Arab American Heritage Month. These campuses include UC Riverside, UC Berkeley, UC Santa Barbara, UC Davis, UC San Diego, and UC Santa Cruz. If you want to learn more about these departments, you can check their socials below. And now I'm going to introduce our host for the event, Gina Waniz. Gina Waniz is a first-generation Syrian American and currently serves as a SWANA retention specialist at UC Santa Cruz's Asian American Pacific Islander Resource Center. Gina attended UC Riverside, where she graduated with a bachelor's degree in psychology and a minor in education. During her undergrad, she was involved in the Middle Eastern Student Center, where she became a founding sister of Epsilon Alpha Sigma, also known as the Empowered Arab Sisterhood. Gina graduated with a Master of Science in Higher Education from California State University, Fullerton.
Thank you, Alat. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. My name is Gina Waniz, and I am so excited to be here with you all in celebration of Arab American Heritage Month. I have the lovely honor of introducing our guest for today. May Maxwell is a first-generation Egyptian American who grew up in New York with strict immigrant parents. Relatable. May takes a comedic perspective of what it's like living in a modern yet traditional Arabic household. Her following grew rapidly due to her funny content highlighting the struggles of living with old school strict parents, aka Arab girl problems. Currently, May resides in North Carolina with her husband, Max Maxwell, and continues her journey across her social platforms, showing not only what it means to live in an Arabic household, but also to show what it takes to start your own. So help me introduce May Maxwell, everyone. In the comments, let's see some love. Hi, May.
Hello, how is everybody doing?
How are you? Tell us about you. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, good. I'm so excited to be here. I've never spoke at a class or to a university, so I'm super excited about this opportunity. And when my brand manager told me about it, I was like, yes, let's go for it. Let's do it.
Well,
So I'm
we're really
honored
excited
be
to
here.
have you, and in celebration of Arab American Heritage Month as well. This is a collaboration with several universities, and so you're talking to people across California. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Are you ready to get started? We have a great interview selection of questions going from personal, professional, and some that we're also going to take from the audience. Are you ready to start and dive
Yes,
into
let's
this?
do it. Let's do it.
Okay, I'm excited. All right, so we want to know like a little bit about growing up for you. So what was it like growing up in New York as an Egyptian American Muslim?
So, it's pretty crazy because I've had two extremes. Growing up as an Egyptian American Muslim, my mom put us in Islamic school from pre-K to ninth grade. So I was in
Wow.
a very controlled environment growing up. And I had
Mhm.
like a small box of friends, and it was the same teachers in the same school, like not much changed. And then I went from private Islamic school where everybody around me was Muslim, and everybody, like, we had prayer times, and like I felt like I was a part of like a community. It was pretty cookie cutter. And I jumped into public school, like from
Mhm.
Islamic school to public school in New York City. And for me, that was like the biggest shell shock of a culture. I was completely like shocked because I was so used to seeing one thing over, even we had a gray uniform. You wear the same pants and the same shirt every day. And then public school, like, you pick your outfits, people are different, there's things going on, there's clubs, there's so many activities, there's things, there's cultures. And I didn't know that things like that existed. So growing up for me in New York City, it was pretty crazy. Like I was able to see so much from that shift and have like a wide perspective.
Yeah. Did you feel like there were other students like you growing up who had that shift right from private Islamic school to public school? Like, were there people that you could relate to that were having that same experience?
Not really, because like when it shifted from private Islamic school, we all went to different schools. Like some people actually graduated because that private Islamic school did end at 12th grade. And so
Mm-hmm.
whoever dropped off to the public school, like that's it. I never kept in touch with too many people. Or I didn't go to school. I didn't go to public school with any of the people from Islamic school. So it was just like a complete. I was like shell shocked. And I remember the first day of school, my mom was convincing me. She's like, stay in Islamic school. There's nothing better than Islamic school. She's like, she was feeding me with all these rumors. She's like, people in public school will just come up to you and they beat you up. I'm
Oh
like,
my
what?
gosh.
Yeah,
You're like
right?
the movies like in her head.
Yeah, like whatever she saw in mainstream media, she thought like that's what public school is, and all like the drugs and all everything you see like through the movie. She was like, yeah, and you won't believe it, they have cliques and gangs. I'm like, what? So the
Mama
first
was
day of
that.
yeah, the first day of public school, I was so scared. Like I didn't even say hi to anybody. I just stayed in the corner. I was so quiet, like completely different from
Oh,
now. I was
haram.
so quiet. And I will never forget, like, there was this girl sitting across from me, also by herself and quiet, and she had these long nails on. I had never seen acrylics in my life. She had long, like, this is all new to me.
Yeah, this wasn't allowed, right?
Yeah, it wasn't allowed. You have no nail polish. You can't chew gum. Like that's how strict I went from private Islamic school. So then she had long acrylic nails, and she's struggling with the cap. And then she just passes me the soda can, and she's like, "Hey, can you open this for me?" And I was like, "This." I was like, "Yes, don't beat me up."
Don't hurt
Oh
me.
my god.
My
But I
God,
opened
that's
the soda
rough.
can, and I also opened a friendship with that because she was my best friend throughout high school. And it
Oh,
was pretty cool because she was also African. She was from Mozambique, and I got to learn so much about her and her
oh.
family. But yeah.
That's awesome. Do you feel like the culture of New York has had like a significant impact on you in your life? Like, especially thinking about growing up and like the diversity that you were exposed to, like just from, K through 9 and then high school right there.
Definitely, I think New York has a huge influence on me. I think I got a lot of my flavor and a lot of my humbleness from New York because it really is a concrete jungle. And once I got exposed to like people and cultures, there I learned so much. And so when I came to live in North Carolina or when I visit other states, I'm like, wow, okay. So I moved from a box from private school, then I moved from a different box from New York City. And then when I started traveling throughout the US, I'm like, okay, there's a different box. Like not every
Yeah.
state is like New York State. Like, wow, stores don't close at 4 a.m. Like you can't get like a sandwich randomly. And wow, there's not a mix of that. Like there's so much diversity in New York. Like,
Mm.
and people are like so open. And here, I feel like people are very nice, but they're very to themselves. Like it's not the same. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think I got to experience so much through New York, and I think it definitely helped influence like my character, my charisma. I got to deal with so many different people, so I love going up. I do like these street interviews, so I love going up to random people and talking to them. And I got that from New York. Like I started doing that in New York, and just like
I love it.
there's an openness and there's a diversity in New York that you can't find anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's only when you start traveling, is when you realize like, oh, okay, New York is not America. There's other there's
Mhm.
other places.
Yeah. So like kind of going off of that, like what was college like? And like talk to us about that. And like eventually want to get into like, your career changes and things like that. So tell us about what college was like for you.
So if you come from a Middle Eastern family, if you come from a strict family, you either become a doctor, a lawyer. There's a meme. There's either
Yeah.
you become a doctor, a lawyer, an
Engineer,
engineer, or a
maybe?
disappointment.
One of the four. Choose
Yeah,
it.
the fourth one is your disappointment. So through high school, I was taking like AP science courses, AP bio. I was
Yeah.
struggling in that class, but then I went into college and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be, my dad always called me Doctora May, like Dr. May, ever since I was a child. Like that's his dream for me. Like he always put that on me. And like when we would go visit family in Egypt, they wouldn't call me May. They would call me Doctora May. So
Doctora.
you can
Aw.
imagine the pressure.
Right on your shoulders, right?
Yeah, right in my face, right in my face. So then I was going around and I'm like, they're calling me Doctora May. I have to be something with doctors. So I felt pressured and I went into college and I'm like, all right, I'm going to take pre-med courses and my major was natural science. And I was miserable. I was miserable. I was struggling. I was like doing homework the night before, or like the period before, I'm struggling. I wasn't passionate about it.
Mhm.
And so I completed the 4 years and I got my degree in natural science. But then I was like, listen, I have to stand up for myself. Like I can continue. I know a lot of people that were miserable. Like I did throughout the years, I did internships because I was like, okay, maybe the studying sucks, but maybe the career is good. Like I
Yeah,
was
maybe
trying
I'll
to be
enjoy
open.
doing it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, let me be open. Maybe like I hate reading and memorizing, but maybe the career is like something that I can do. And so I would take a lot of internships. Like I was very open when it came to that. And I still hated it.
No difference.
No difference.
Confirmed.
Yeah, confirmed. So when I graduated, I was like, okay, first of all, when you get out of college, it's kind of hard to find a job sometimes. So I stayed a year unemployed and just like thinking like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so I was like, okay, I don't want to be a doctor. So maybe I can mix science with law. I was like, maybe I
Okay.
could be a lawyer and
One
still
of the other four options.
exactly doctor, lawyer, engineer, or disappointment. I was like, if I went from a doctor, let me be a lawyer. Engineer, I was so bad at math that wasn't even an option for me. But
We're not even considering it.
exactly. So I was like, hello, let me just focus. So then I was like, lawyer. Okay. So I applied to a bunch of patent law firms. And I remember I took a course in college. It was patent law, and the professor was so charismatic, and she made the class so fun. So I was like, I'm going to be a patent lawyer. And I said it with my chest up, and I was telling everybody. And that's my downfall. Telling my whole family I'm going to be a patent lawyer. And then like I'd go to Egypt, and my uncle would be like, lawyers are liars, haramaya, like
Oh no.
because he had thought that criminal law, like I'm defending
Right.
criminals, like like when your family doesn't really know what you're doing. So yeah, then I got accepted at this job in Times Square, and I was on the 15th floor of a building, and I was working in a nice law firm, and I stayed there, but I worked there for 2 years, and I was like just working for the experience to see if that was going to be long term. And I hated it as well. I hated it. It was so much paperwork. I was behind the desk. I couldn't show my personality off. I loved interacting with people. And it just wasn't highlighting any of my skills. And I kind of sucked at it too. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't the best patent paralegal ever. I kind of did it like a zombie. And so after that, while I was working at the law firm, I created an Egyptian American jewelry company, me and my mom. So my
Okay.
poor mom, I drag her into everything.
I'm like, I see a trend here.
Has to be with me. Listen, it's a two-way street because she's very intrusive in my life, and I'm very dependent on her. So we're both at fault. It's like, I don't know. So
Yeah,
like,
no, I can see it.
yeah. So we depend on each other for toxicity. But but what was I saying? Yes. Okay. So I was like, oh, let me create Nefertari's vault. And Nefertari was an ancient Egyptian queen in Egypt. And I would buy jewelry from Egypt and I would sell it online. And me and my mom would just like, we created an Instagram page and we would go to these jewelry fairs. And I remember setting up for hours, just like taking pictures of jewelry or putting it on me, trying to be, a supermodel, and all that effort, and I would get like a few likes or whatever. But I remember every time me and my mom would like interact at the stand or say something and I posted on the story, boom, boom. So then I would,
Okay.
that really excited me. And I was like, wait. And I remember growing up and watching social media, and I never really could find anybody that I could relate. Like the pieces were coming together. I was like, okay, why is this content booming? Why? And then I started thinking about like content on social media, like growing up and not seeing like an Arab mom and daughter having a relationship, or seeing the struggles that Arab American women go through.
Yeah.
And
Like
so
that
I started
representation.
realizing, and so I started realizing like I started having a shift like from the jewelry company to more interactions of me and my mom, just testing it through stories. And so it just slowly like naturally went that way and progressed. And then I just created May's Vault out of Terry. It was Nefertari's Vault, but it was Terry's Vault. I created May's Vault. And then I just
Okay.
never looked back since.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I love how you talk about the trajectory. And I want to ask you, like, how did your parents feel about that decision, right? Like, first you told them you chose one of the four, then you chose the second one, and then you chose content creation. So how did they feel about it?
Okay, so this is gonna be very real for me. They weren't happy at all. I'll tell you that when it came to making that decision, I remember having my parents so involved in each decision that when it came to actually seeing what I was happy with, I kept it to myself. It was the first time. I have a very big mouth. I can't control. The whole community knows my business, and it's my fault. And so when it came to deciding something so important in my life, I was like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out first within myself, and then tell them. So I realized that I really love making people laugh, and I love like I was connecting with people. Wallahi,
Yeah.
that blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, I've been living like a zombie for so long. When I found what makes me valuable to my community or makes people laugh, that made me so happy. So I was like, you know what? Khalas. Oh, I keep dropping random Arabic words. I don't know if that's like
That's okay. That's totally
okay.
fine with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And so okay, so I quit my job. I quit my lawyer job. I didn't look back. I
No nine
remember
to
I
five.
told them, yeah, I quit my 9 to 5. I said, sorry guys. And they asked me, they were like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna be a content creator. They looked at me like I was bat crazy. They were like, because like I was never like really myself in a work environment. I was always calm, cool, and maybe I'd make a joke here and there. And it was a
But
little
not
bubbly.
the May that we see, right?
Exactly. Excuse me. It's a complete difference. So like, when you have your wings free and you have no care and you don't worry about your job, watching yourself, like now that this was my job and everything, I could be myself. So they thought I was crazy. I took a few months in between, like 3-4 months, where I kept getting dressed like I was going to work. I was like, okay, mama, I'm going to work. Salam alaikum. And then I would dress like I'm going to work. I'd sit in a cafe. I just learned everything about YouTube and Instagram, social media, anything I could learn about social media. I was taking courses. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, okay, how do I edit my own videos? How do I be self-sufficient so that, I can carry my own weight? Like, now this is khalas, like, I don't have an income. This is my business and I'm in charge, and that's it. You only have yourself responsible.
And even like to hold yourself accountable too, right?
Exactly. So then, like, day after day, I'm getting dressed, but then, day after day, I'm waking up later and later, and I'm like, khalas, I don't have to wake up at 8 a.m. I don't have to wake up at 6. I don't have to wake up at 7. So my mom's noticing, like, every day I'm like waking up later, and she's like, she's like, your work starts at 11 a.m. Huh?
And moms, they know.
They catch everything. So then she was catching. She was like, whatever. And then I was looking at her like she's weird. I was like, what are you talking about, Mom? And then I just leave.
Question her.
Yeah, you gotta do the reverse psychology.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after a few months, I told her, I was like, khalas, like, I learned whatever I could. And I was like, it's time to act. Like, if I wait any longer, what's the point? Like, I had to just post. So I started posting videos, and I quit. And my mom and dad were so scared for me. Like, they were like, oh, she's quitting, she's doing videos. And then I was like, Mom, I just do like fun videos on social media. She's like, oh, social media. And she's having a heart attack. She literally hated it. She's like, what do you wear in these videos?
Oh no.
Who are you with in these videos? Like,
Who's
like,
gonna see them?
Yeah, her mind was wandering.
Right.
And I was trying to keep her out of my business, so I'd give her short answers, and that was driving her even crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember one time she went to the mosque, and she came back fuming. She's like, some lady came up to me at the mosque. She told me you do videos. She's like, oh, I want to see the videos. She's like having. But just.
I'm picturing Mama with that doing this.
You want to do the videos? So yeah, she was freaking out. And then I told her, I was like, Mama, I started showing her and involving her more in the content. And it was a way not only for us to be connecting and creating a stronger bond, but it was a way for her to watch over and make sure I'm not in a bikini.
Yeah. She's like, I'm in these videos. I know what's happening.
Yeah, that basically to like hover over.
Yeah, it seems like it was a journey.
Yeah, so it never was like I woke up one day and I was like, I love content creation. It definitely was a process. It was like a whole like process of me understanding, like, through I always tell people, experiment with what you like, because I experimented. I had so many different jobs. I tried different internships. I remember when I was in pre-med, I tried I was like, okay, when I was in that doctor phase, I was like, I'm gonna shadow a OBGYN. And the first day I got there, some emergency happened, and the fire department came, and ambulances came down, and the doctor turns to me, she's like, this never happens, May. It's the first day you're here and you bought this here. And I was like laughing. I was like, I don't know, this isn't for me. It was too much happening.
Yeah, is this a sign?
Yeah, but the point is, I tried so many different things, and I got to see so many things until I realized, like, this is what I like.
Yeah, you kind of bringing me to the next question we have, which is like, is there a secret for SWANA or MENA youth to follow when trying to convince their parents or families to support them pursuing different endeavors? And like, let's specifically focus on like artistic endeavors, right? Like, how, you talked about like trying different things, but what do you want to tell like other youth who are trying to convince their parents or talk to their family about things like this?
I think parents always have, like, from my experience, my mom and my parents always had good intentions for me. They just didn't have the information, and this is new. This is even new for me. Like, social media has been around, but content creation is new. As a career, it's a new thing. So she just always tried to look out for me in a way, and in the beginning, it was discouraging me from doing content creation, and not in a bad way. Like, you suck, your videos suck. Well, kind of, but I don't know. It's like not in a way like you can't do this. It's like do something better with your life. Like do
Mm,
something that's solid, already proven, because they come from generations of 9 to 5s, or they come from
yeah,
generations where these certain careers are what's good. So I
yeah,
say, even to this day, I still have to prove myself to my mom. Like I'm still showing her like the type of deals or partnerships that I'm working on. I also include her in a lot of them. So it really is a communication process, and it's not like overnight. But I always, like, when in the beginning, when I was discouraged around with the people that were close to me, I just was very headstrong. I was very, like, because of the joy that it got me, and I was very like stubborn. I was very stubborn.
mm,
Nobody could tell me anything.
yeah,
And if I didn't care. I was laughing at my own videos. I was showing one of my friends, one of my close friends. She would give me the get go, like, yeah, this is bomb. I'd post it. I'd move,
yeah,
like, don't
yeah,
be stuck in other people's opinions, but also, like, give them the respect to, like, share the information. Cause I know that was my fault in the beginning. Like, I was being secretive, and my mom was worried, and poor lady probably was sleeping 2 hours a day thinking I was doing something different online.
but
Like, yeah, like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's a communication thing. And I say, like, communicate that this is a passion, or this is something that you're trying out. And then if it doesn't work out, communicate that too. I'm just trying things out. But I also don't know, because people have different types of families.
like
So it's
even
hard.
generational, right? Like you said, you're first generation, I'm first generation here too. And so I can relate to that. And like also trying to understand where your family, your parents, your guardians are coming from, right? Like I think back to like, well, why do they have those 3 or 4 choices, right? Well, because that's what they could have defined as success. Content creation, like we could define as success right now here in 2022, but that's not even like fathomable for folks who came to the US in such a different time
Mhm.
period, right? So I
Exactly.
think about that.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit more about professionalism for you. What drove you towards becoming a content creator, and how do you differentiate yourself from other content creators?
So what drove me to be a content creator is spreading, like, awareness about Egyptian American culture or Arab American culture in a positive light. Like, growing up, I never saw that, and I was like, you know what? When I realized that that was something missing, I was like, well,
Mm,
okay. I always used to see, like, more males doing skits and styles like that, and I wanted to be like a face that represented a beautiful culture, instead of like mainstream media portraying Muslims in a certain way or Arabs in a certain way.
mm,
And so I was like, you know what? When I started connecting with real people and getting real comments, and really, like, seeing that we're so similar and we share so many things across the world,
yeah,
that's where I found my passion from. I was like, okay, let's go. And what the second part is, what makes me different as a content creator?
yeah. Like what differentiates you? Like what's something that maybe someone doesn't know, like that you would share? Like what? Why would I want to watch you?
I think everybody, I think it's that I'm being myself, and I share so much of my family and culture. I think
Yeah.
every content creator is different because they bring themselves to the table. And what's cool
Mm,
about content creation is when you're your own creator, like, you're your own brand,
yeah.
basically. And so I don't ever feel that pressure, like, oh my God, I have to show up and be a certain way. I love that I could just show up and be myself. Like, that's my
Yeah.
brand. I show my family, I show my food, I show positive things. I want people to laugh. Some things are not as funny as other things, but every day I'm consistent. I'm consistent,
Yeah.
and I love it. I love posting, and you can see it from my page. And I think every content creator knows that the sauce of being a content creator is consistently showing up. And I will
Yeah.
say, I know I'm babbling a little bit, but I will say, I always tell people, like, it's like going into a room and introducing yourself to people. The first day, I'm not gonna remember your name. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, hi, my name is yeah, sorry, I'm gonna use your name. Hi, my name is Gina. Okay,
Yeah.
hi, nice to meet you. I'm not gonna remember. But if you show up the
Yeah.
second day, the third day, a month, 2 months, 3 months, hi, I'm Gina, I'm gonna remember you. It's the same
Yeah.
thing with social media. Like, you can't post one time and, oh, you have a hit. Even if it goes viral, people won't remember after a while. You have to be consistent, like, show up every day.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. So do you get inspiration from other content creators or have any favorite like people who are acting, people who are creating TikToks, folks on social
Yeah,
media.
definitely, definitely. I spend a portion of my day consuming social media. So I'll be, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram or even YouTube Shorts, just seeing what the trends are,
Mm.
seeing like ideas I like and how I can, let's Arabify it or Muslimify it or like make it into my own,
Yeah,
and it's so cool to be able to see how different people create all over the world. Like, it's beautiful that you can pick up your phone and see what somebody across the world is doing, and we never used to have that 10 years ago. And
right.
so, like, it's such a beautiful tool to just, sometimes I create original ideas, but sometimes I'm like, yo, I like the way that person did this, and I have a separate idea to do it and just, remix it together.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool.
yeah. But I have a mix of like favorite content creators that are Arab based and Muslim based, but also just like general based.
Do you want to give some shout outs?
Yeah. First one is my husband, Max Maxwell. No, I genuinely met him from social media. So like I had seen his profile and his business stuff,
That's special.
his business content. So I really do like his content. He does give a lot of gems to people on how you can invest and make money, which is important. Making money is very important. And
It
that's another thing
is.
as a content creator. Don't let them shame you for making this a career, because you can really make a lot of money off of social media.
Right.
Another profile, I love Golden Balance, like his videos about cooking. Do you know him?
Me too. Yes. I love
Yeah,
Ahmed's videos.
yeah. The cooking. Um, خلاص. No, I'm just.
I'm just kidding. I love the cooking videos too, May.
Well, thank you for having me, University. Looking at me all.
No, I really do genuinely love that. We'll get into how that impacted the pandemic soon too.
Yeah. I watch a family called Love So Real. They do like pranks on each other, or they make fun of each other. It's just a husband and a wife. Um, and Maya Hussein, love her content.
Yeah.
She's pretty
Yeah.
cool too. But I'm in the mix. Like, I love watching videos. Like, that's my daily and nightly routine. I spend like an hour.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think maybe a lot of us probably don't think of like content creators that like that's kind of like a responsibility that you have to do is watch other content creators too and like see what's new and trying to stay up with the trends. Like that's a big responsibility of being a creator too, is just being in the know of what's hot and now.
Yeah, and I think even if you're passionate about business or economy, you have to keep up with what's going on. It's the same
Right.
thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's like what you're interested in, so you want to keep on top of it, and you don't want to be in 1980 when 2030 is happening. So you just
Yeah,
keep
for
up.
sure. May, I want to ask you, how did the pandemic impact your creative process and just like your just content creation period?
The pandemic, it was a curse and a blessing. I'll say it was a curse because obviously there's a pandemic going on. So many people are passing away. I had friends that passed away. I had a lot of people that I knew that passed away, and it was really sad. But it was a time that, I was able to double down and like stay home and focus on myself and focus on my craft. I was pumping out 2 videos a day. I was pumping out a video a day, like a
Yeah.
monster. It was a time that, if I was working on my content for a year, I grew like triple during that time, and it was insane. It was pretty crazy. But I will say, like, it was a blessing and a curse in disguise at the same time, because it was hard. It was hard to be in the house, kind of, because like, like I'd go to the gym. That would be my escape from the house, because you do stay. I would stay at home a lot. But like, I had a routine. I'd go to the gym. Maybe I'd go out for lunch with my friends, or maybe I'd enjoy a birthday here and there. But then all of a sudden, like, everything's off the table for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see so much misery and bad things happening around you. So it does keep a damper on you. And you're home. You're home with your family at the same time. Like, everybody's home at the same time. And so it was pretty crazy. Like, there was an adjusting period of us wanting to kill each other. There was a period of us getting along. There was a period of like going outside and like running back home and saying, oh my God, everybody has masks. Like, there was so many adjustment periods. But I
Yeah.
will say, for content, like, I took the time and I took advantage of it. And I really doubled down on content during that time. And I think that was great. Like there's always downsides. Like even when the economy is down, you have to find what's positive about it, or like people invest when it's down. So when it was down, like pandemic wise, I really invested in like social media and put a lot of work towards it. Because that's what was available.
Yeah, and everyone was home, and so everyone was also watching and like viewing these things. So that makes a lot of sense. So now zooming to 2022, what projects are you working on, and what has been like one of your favorite projects so far? Two questions.
It's crazy because within a span of right now, it's 2.5 years of consecration, and alhamdulillah, like I praise God because I still can't believe like I'm where I'm at. Like every day I still work or still try to drop content as if it's like my first day, you know? And I really try to keep humble to the things that grew me, you know, like commenting to people, connecting with people, doing events like this, or like, you know, showing up as much as possible for the culture and the community. What was the question? I totally lost.
Yeah, that's okay. What projects are you working on now in 2022? And then what has been your favorite project?
So I started working. So why I was saying that was because now I feel like super blessed because, you know, recently I worked with Meta for the Metaverse Culture series. So it was a series that was highlighting using technology to share my day, a day in the life during Ramadan. I was so surprised. Like I've never worked with like Facebook Meta or, you know, to work on a project just to share like a Muslim experience. I was like, wow, we're really like starting to get the exposure that we need. And then, you know, Adobe, I just got highlighted for Adobe for Women's Create Wednesday. So that was really exciting for me. And I have a huge upcoming project with United Airlines where we get to give back and stuff. So I like doing partnerships that are meaningful and long-term and also give back to the community. So those are just some of the three that I'm really excited about.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. I look forward to, you know, watching those. I have a question. So a lot of our audience here are college students. So I want to ask you what advice you would give to college students that are still deciding what they want to do after they graduate from undergrad. There's a lot of people watching right now in their spring quarter or spring semester, their last quarter or semester of the school year, and they're really, you know, a lot of their experience has been during the pandemic. And so I want to like kind of paint that picture for you as you're talking to these students and giving them just a piece of advice as they're still deciding what's next for them.
I remember when I was in that time, I was so mad when I would see people that were definite about their career. Like I had so many friends that were like, yeah, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm applying right now. And I was lost and confused. And so I felt like the need to say, yeah, I'm going to law school, but I really didn't feel that way. And I felt that pressure because so many people around me already knew their path or, you know, just, I would say, you know, focus on yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing and experiment. Take jobs, take internships. What you have is time. A lot of people don't have time, but right now you have the time to experiment and try as many things out until you find what fits you and your lifestyle. It's not about you finding a good job. It's about a good career finding you and you keeping it all throughout your life so that you can grow. So I say experiment and take as many internships as you can.
Yeah, I see a lot of claps in the audience for that comment. I also, let's switch it up. It is Ramadan. So let's ask you, what is your favorite Ramadan dish? And I'm going to ask to eat and to make. We're going to have both because I know you've been cooking.
This is the hardest question so far. Oh my God. I didn't know you were going to put me on the spot like this.
Or heat up. You can just like, we know.
Or heat up. Okay, that's a good point. And now you're talking. Favorite dish to eat? I love wara anab. Oh my God.
Yes,
Stuffed grape leaves. Don't talk to me while I'm eating that.
So good.
And you know what else I love? I love fried cauliflower. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, that's really good. I can eat it hot. I can eat it cold. However, fresh, day old, I don't care.
I eat it soggy. Good. Yeah, I'm with you, girl. I eat it. It's delicious.
Nice.
Favorite dish to make? I love to make.
The hesitancy.
What's the next question? No, but lately my iftars has been kind of successful because I've been prepping. I learned that you prep the food early in the day.
Yeah.
What? I never knew that. You prep early in the day and then you just put it in the
Yeah.
oven or on the stove.
I mean, there's like content creators that are creating some awesome dishes
Yeah.
right
Oh,
now.
I want to say this is so random. We just got a chicken coop and the chickens are laying fresh eggs.
That is not
So
something
it's
I would have
probably
heard you say when you were in New York. That is probably not something you would have said when you were in
I'm a
New
change
York.
woman. I'm a change woman. I'm a country girl now.
North Carolina.
Changing me. You know, I was really terrified of animals, of any type of nature. I'm not gonna lie to you. But
Yeah.
moving out here, now I'm petting the horses. I have a dog, chickens, 8
Okay,
chickens.
May. You?
Shush.
I love it. Okay, last question before we get to the audience. So I know we'll get to those right after this. And I guess it could be a little bit of a more serious question. I want to ask you, what is one misconception people have about you, and what is the truth that you want to share?
I think that it's not a lot of work and that I just go on and I'm like, but a lot of things are scripted. Content creation takes time. It takes a lot of effort.
Mm,
I do this full time. So a lot of people think that I just get on, or there are parts of like being authentically in the moment, but there's a lot of times that are like scripted, and like whatever you see on social media isn't every single aspect of my life as well. Like I also do have a private life and I just choose what I want to share with the world. So there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. There's days that I feel very sick and like and tired and worn out, and there's times where I'm just like, you know, like sad, and you know, like I also have different emotions. I'm
yeah.
also a human being as well. But I think it's because I don't want to make my page about that, but I focus so much on trying to relate to people and make people laugh. That's the goal with my page. But I think a lot of people have a misconception that I can never be serious or
Mm,
always joking around. And so yeah, that hurts my feelings a little bit.
yeah, I mean, we are like multidimensional humans. Like at the end of the day, like there's so many things that people don't see on social
Yeah,
media, right? Just
yeah.
sometimes a highlight reel or whatever. So I think that's really important that you shared that. May, are you ready to get some questions from the audience?
Let's do it. I love it.
All right. So our first question is, what helps you gain confidence in your work? And this is on the screen for everyone to see.
What helps you gain confidence in your own work, in your work? I think over time you realize that you're capable, you know. Over time, it just takes time with confidence. But I think in the beginning I had friends around me that would just support no matter what. And then I developed over time. So I think the confidence is believing in yourself, doing it over time, and then khalas, nobody can tell me anything now. I'm very I can't hear none of it.
Yeah, I love that. All right, I'll read the second one. Many of your videos features your mom. How'd you get your mom to be in your videos?
I get this, you know, it's crazy. I get this question all the time because it's very rare to see an Arab mom really down for the count.
Yeah, and
And
that's
like
just
I
one
said,
video, right?
yeah, like I said in the beginning, and even one video is very hard, or they feel very like Arab moms get very stiff in front of the camera or uncomfortable. I think I just started from the beginning, like genuinely doing it with my mom for the jewelry company. And then she just, I would catch her in moments. Like I would say something that I knew would piss her off and I would record her reaction and I would just post it. No permission needed. Like I would just catch her in the moment. And then over time, when she wanted to see more of what I was doing, she was more involved. We started creating skits. And then we just got better and we just have a better flow. And now it's like we're a well-oiled machine.
I love that. The transition from let me just like
Transition.
secretly record
Yeah,
Mama's reaction.
I put her on the spot so many times that like that I was like, Mama, look at how well this video is doing. Bussy, people love you, Mama. Bussy, bussy. And she'd be like, people love me. Like she's all hyped and she loved it. And she's like, yeah, I am the star. And then she was in the sauce. She got lost in the sauce.
Yes. I remember May watching one of the skincare ASMR videos, and I was just like, your mama could totally steal the show sometimes, and I love it. Like you can see so much of your personality in all your videos, but like her personality really shines through. And I feel like as Arab American like women, I think like especially like moms and older women, sometimes it's like we don't see a lot of the personality. So I really appreciate how you show that on screen.
Yeah, I think people think that we're very like quiet and we listen and we're obedient women and that's it.
Right.
But no, my mom runs the show. I mean, I'm very loud and outspoken. My mom's very strong. We're very two strong women figures that are around each other and we just coexist
I
somehow.
love it. I love it. Let's hear another question from the audience. This one says, how often do you take breaks off social media?
Ooh, it's hard because I get creator's guilt. Like I get guilty. I feel guilty if I don't post for a day. Like because I was training myself so much in the beginning to be consistent. But I think I just whenever I need it, to be honest. Like I'll take 4 days at a time, but it's very rare. I probably should take it a little bit more so I'm less like in the head, but I take like 4 days at a time whenever I feel like I really need it. Or if I don't have anything positive to bring to the table, I take a break. I'm like, there's no need to like be posting nonsense, you know?
Yeah. Quality over quantity, right?
Yeah.
All right, May. I do admire and love you, Habibti. I like your confidence very much, dear. My question is, do you think you will achieve this, or you will be where you are right now if you studied in Islamic school? So I'm thinking this person is asking, do you think where you would be where you are right now if you didn't make that transition to public school? Maybe, unless you have a different interpretation of the question.
I'm gonna go with your interpretation for sure. Because I'm not
Yeah.
Would I be where I am if I wasn't in if I was in Islamic school the whole way? I really can't tell. It coulda, shoulda, woulda kind of thing. I mean, I will say the transition into high school was a big part of my life because it was a shell shock. And I think if I stayed through and I graduated in Islamic school, the college aspect still would have been a culture shock, and I still would have went through that. But
Yeah.
maybe later, like I don't know if I would catch up the way I am now. Maybe I'd be 35 doing content and TikToking. I'm not sure. I really can't answer that as well as I could. But Islamic school definitely was a good. I mean, it definitely had an impact on my life. There was a big. I can't. I don't know. I don't know.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I don't know what my answers. I don't know.
To like think about it. Maybe.
I don't know if things would be the
Maybe.
same. I have no idea.
Yeah. All right. The next question is, how do you learn not to care what anyone thinks? For example, when you get hate comments. It's a great question.
It happens so often, you know, and hate comments, I read them. Sometimes I get irritated. I'm like, should I adrabha bishab?
What is the translation of that, May?
I hear her with a slipper, but I don't condone that. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, comments really get to you, but I always focus on the positive, and I always respond to the positive, and I leave the negative. And you know, negative comments are honestly, like, when you think about it, somebody's spending their time to hate on you or like write something negative towards you, they're really unhappy with your life. Because I can't imagine myself going on the internet and writing something mean to somebody and feeling like I accomplished something good in my day. Like there has to be something. So I always try to, even though I have emotions and I deal with like reading things that hurt my feelings, I try to like brush it off, focus on the good, and continue working. Like this one person in Norway is not gonna ruin my mood for the rest of my day. I'm living good, alhamdulillah. I got a chicken coop.
Yeah, you got a chicken coop.
Life is good for me.
I love that response. Yeah, thank you. We'll read the next one. Okay, when you started making TikToks, did you notice a difference between SWANA humor and American humor, and how are you able to target to both of these audiences?
I think there's a huge difference between SWANA humor and American humor. SWANA humor really revolves around the culture and what you go through, like in your upbringing and your household, things that happen to you, not like growing up. I think American humor is just I like SWANA humor because it's PG and you find things that are funny. Like I feel like American humor sometimes goes like crazy or like um like in our culture we can find simple things that we can all relate to because we grew up that way and it's funny. I feel like
Yeah.
American humor sometimes touches on like a lot of sexual notes that I was like, oh my god, this is like crazy. Or a lot of cursing. I don't know. I like a mix because like I like that I can be American and mix in like certain trends, but also I have that culture and upbringing where I grew up a certain way and I don't like to like have certain things in my videos.
Yeah, I feel like, and you can live in both of those.
Hmm.
All right, now that you're in North Carolina, is it Duke or UNC?
I don't know about either one. Which one? I don't know either one.
That's okay.
Whatever university's for free. That's the one I say.
All right, next one. What would your younger self not believe about yourself today?
Who is asking these questions? Oh my god. That I'm not a doctor. I really believe that I was going to be a doctor when I was young because I was brainwashed. But I don't know, when I was young I also felt like you have this feeling when you're going to be successful. You have this feeling when you have like something that makes you different. I always had that feeling when I was growing up. I kind of still have that childlike feeling now. Like that's why I'm always like people think I'm younger than I am. I just have this like energy or something that I was born with that I can't explain. But I don't know. These are crazy questions. These are pretty cool.
Yeah. Is there any, May, that you see in the comment section that you may want to answer that maybe we didn't get to?
Let
I'll
me
let you
check it
choose
out.
one at least.
Okay. Not related to content, but how has the marriage life been? I can answer that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's pick that one.
Sounds good.
For me, like the marriage process, one day I was single, the next thing I know was like at the aisle. But alhamdulillah, marriage for me has been something that's been such a blessing. And I found somebody that I could really grow with and connect with. And so marriage life has been interesting as a content creator as well. Cause like I'm so used to being in my house creating TikToks with my mom. And like, you get worried when there's a shift. You're like, okay, I've been doing something for so long, but I love that I've been able to shift through my content and have like a new life and share it with everybody. But yeah, alhamdulillah. I say when you find your soulmate, like everything falls in line and I've been so happy.
Aw. And as your fans, I think a lot of us can say we really love that, and love watching that for you. So
Thank
before we close off, May, is there anything you'd like to promote and share with the UC students and the audience members here?
You guys can always keep up with my journey at Maysville on Instagram, TikTok. I also have a channel with my husband, Max and May, on YouTube if you guys would like to check that out. But in general, I want to thank you guys so much for having me today. Follow your dreams. You guys can always DM me if you have any questions. And yeah, much love. Keep going with that education and try so many things out. Don't let anybody discourage you because everybody looks crazy. Everybody looks crazy at first until they're successful. So I wish
Thank
you guys much
you.
love.
Thank you, May, and thanks for allowing me to interview you. I really appreciate you taking the time to answer all our questions and laughing along with this interview too. I'm going to bring up Alat to close off and wrap up our program for today, but great meeting
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you. Same as well.
Can we give it up for May and Gina once again in the chat? We want to thank May and Gina for joining us today and for all of you for tuning in. Thank you so much, May. I love how open you are and willing to share so much about who you are. And we have a group of people here at UCR watching this interview together, and you've inspired them to start exploring their own creativity. And please don't forget to check out May's Fault and all of our collaborating departments on Instagram below. And have a great day, everyone.